Hey, what's up guys? My name is Cameron Gallagher and today I'm going to show you how to do a really cool grade. It's going to be a little more laid back, so it's going to be not really scripted. I'm not showing you any specific thing, but I'm going to show you how to put some film grain on, and just kind of show you how I grade this shot. This is a shot from the DIY Anamorphic filter video, so go check that out in the description below. But let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing I like to do is I like to balance my shot. So I think our highlights, now I do want this to be a tad bit underexposed, but I'm going to bring my highlights up just a touch, bring those mids, but I'm going to drop those shadows because I want it to be really contrasty still. Something like that looks pretty nice. Of course, I could always do more specifically to his face. Let's maybe bring our saturation up just a little bit to like 72% or so. All right, I'm gonna do Alt S, make a new node. Now what I'm gonna do, which of course this is just how I'm doing this, I'm gonna use one of the LUTs from Triune films in their standard and the interstellar. Now this was around sunset and there was this really cool kind of like orangey backlighting, but again I still want to have this nice cool, you know, blue color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add that LUT, click Alt S, and then in a new node I'm gonna bring back those highlights and midtones back to that really warm, but what it does is it still gives us this really nice undertone of green and blues. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Alt S again. I'm going to go here to the curves and Luma versus saturation. I'm going to bring down the saturation and then make a point and bring it back up. This way our complete blacks are not totally saturated, and it kind of just, it's a subtle little thing, but you can kind of see over here in these like really black spots when you turn it off, it kind of gets rid of that nasty green look. Again, it's very subtle, but I think it adds a lot. Now this is cool, you know, it's a little too underexposed, so I'm gonna do Alt S, Alt L, and I want to qualify his skin. So let's jump into our vector scope, and we can see everything's a little bit off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna try to brighten up. Actually, I'm gonna qualify his skin, Shift H. Oh, excuse me, that's actually. Alright, so we're gonna double click on this layer, we're gonna go to the qualifier, and we're gonna qualify his skin and see what we can get. Shift H shows you just what you're qualifying. And let's see if we can kind of adjust this a little bit. I want to get rid of everything but his skin. See if I just play. Basically, you really just got to play with these parameters until you get what you want. It's never perfect, but and what I could always do is I can always put a little mask. I could always track this mask, but for now I'm just going to kind of put it over his face just for a still shot here. Shift H again. Oh, you know what? I'm going to feather that a little bit. So again, what you'd normally do is you'd actually track this, but right now this is just so we have just a close-up on his actual face. And what I want to do is we're going to try to lighten up his skin just a touch, and this is going to be difficult without making it look a little too odd. So we don't want to do too much. Just a hair, and we're gonna bring it a little more towards our red. That's a little bit much. No, let's actually reset those quick. You know what we'll do? We'll grab this offset and we'll pull it over just a touch, and we'll brighten it. That looks a little bit better. Again, it's very, very small, but it looks nice. What we're going to do is we're going to double click on this layer, Alt S, Alt L, and now we're going to add our grain. I'm going to drag this layer way over here, and I'm going to, so this is interesting. What you got to do is you have to make sure that you brought in a track matte from somewhere. You have to right click on it, import as track matte, and it'll import in here. So I have this Kodak 35 4K. What I'm going to do is back to color, and then I'm going to right click on this bottom or AK top layer and go to add matte, track mattes, and this Kodak 35mm film. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this, go to this bottom one, and your stuff's going to change here, so kind of ignore that. Grab this bottom handle, Bring it up there. Now, boom, again, you're going to see nothing. So what we got to do is now I have to click on this key and double click on our actual track matte. You're going to want to make sure that lock matte is unchecked and loop is checked. And now what we can do is we can zoom in as to how big we want that grain. We could have it really big, or we could have it more like, I kind of want, you know, like a 35-ish look, which because it's 1080p, to me, that looks like a pretty decent grain size. So again, that's just, you know, whatever to your taste. And yeah, once you have that, double click on your layer, mixer, composite mode, and soft light. Now that is the easiest and best way to add grain. I actually learned that from another tutorial which you can check out. It goes a lot in depth on how you can add grain to several different types of videos, but I found that this way works the best for me, and I consistently use this the most. So to me, this type of grain, I think it looks really good. And like I said, it looks very natural, and I like this look. You know, his skin is a little bit brighter and it has a little more of a natural look to it. Again, I think this looks really cool. This is pretty much what I wanted for the grade. So yeah, it's really that simple. Like I said, you know, just to kind of overview, we did some basic corrections here. Actually, I'll turn these off. Let's go backwards. So I added the grain. I then added the qualifier, which is there. Turn all these off. Well, I can't turn off the grain because it's going to do that, but you get the idea. We add off our luma versus saturation, our desaturation of the blacks, that push towards the warmer tones. This was our lookup table, and then this is our original shot, which had its corrections on it. So you can see we had lookup table. Again, that had, you know, before it was a little different, but I'm not going to change that because that'll change everything. Yeah, so before, interstellar lookup table, our warmth push, desaturation of the blacks, skin qualifier, and finally our grain and everything. And I think that's a pretty cool image. Also, down in the description, I'm going to add the link to the Triune Films LUTs and Horror LUTs. I did reviews on both, but you can also buy both of those from Triune Films store. 100% recommend those. I am not sponsored by them, but I tell you what, I would 100% sponsor those because they are awesome. But anyway, that's kind of a cool way to do a little bit of color correction, kind of show you a different way how we can use LUTs within grading, and you know, just a really cool underexposed stylistic shot. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hope you guys have a good one.